Hello, beautiful. I'm your host, Nicole Goff. Welcome to the Ecstatic Life Podcast, the podcast for women who want to live fully embodied, nervous system regulated, open-hearted, radiant, and alive. Here we explore the practices, modalities, and lived rhythms that return you to yourself, to your heart, to your body, your intuition, and your divine spark. This podcast is for women who are ready to awaken their inner creatrix, activate their inner manifester, and remember, an ecstatic life isn't a destination. It's the path we're walking together. Hello, welcome back to the Ecstatic Life Podcast. I am back today with Shellbe. Hi.
Hi.
It was like just the other day. So I got to give a little backstory just to start off because it's just like the way we roll with like mom life and everything. But we were like, 2 weeks ago, we were like, had this idea for like a Valentine's episode. And we like scheduled and like rescheduled. And I got sick and totally lost my voice again for the third time in 3 months, which is like, I'm calling it the COVID 25 because this is some weird ass shit. So now I'm like, I got to go back to like the full on like coffee enemas, juice fast, whatever I got to do. I've already gotten back on the intermittent fasting. I'm like, I got to cleanse. There's something they're spraying in the air, whatever, because this is not normal. Not normal.
And you can't be a podcaster and not have a voice. So
Yes, like I still am a little froggy, but like, yeah, so we were supposed to record last night and then tummy issues, mom life. So they're just like, we're really playing it by ear. So we're literally recording. It is actually Friday the 13th. We are literally recording hours before it's going to be released, but this is how we roll. So totally behind the scenes here.
yeah.
I'm going to be editing on the fly.
And that is so just mom life. It's like you have, which I'm learning. We've talked about in past episodes, like the anxiety for me of like not knowing what the day is going to hold or like planning something like next Tuesday. I don't know. Like, how can I plan next Tuesday? Because last night, literally an hour before we were going to record, my daughter has like super bad tummy ache. And I'm like, I don't know where this is going to go. I have no idea what the night's going to be. I can't do this tonight. And you're like, tomorrow? I'm like, hopefully, I don't know. So here we are. She's all good. Thank God for homeopathics and, my knowledge of that. And here we are. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Mom life.
Yeah, well, this is just like literally how I roll every day. Like I've just learned. I think that's the thing about having 5 kids. Like it's been like beat out of me to like fight against it. I'm just like, yeah, we just roll with it. We just roll with the tides wherever it goes.
And not to get too far off topic, but that's where I think that being flexible in your work and finding what you can do and be passionate about it, that you can do it on your own time. Like I do hair at home. I do a lot of different odd jobs, but it's like I can cancel a client. Like I'm in control. I don't have to leave my sick kid to go to a job in order to pay my rent. Like I've set it up to where I could be flexible like that. Right. And then homeschooling, it's like we're way ahead. We're way ahead of the game. Yet we can take a week off and like just chill, So it's nice. And that lessens the stress. To me, when I have too many appointments, then I'm like, I can't, this is stressing me out because I don't know if we can make all this. We always do. But, I like to have it more flexible. So,
and that actually is not so off topic because what we are going to talk about today is broadly dating as a single mom. But, also we're going to talk about just dating and relationships and dynamics these days in general, but it does throw that other aspect in when you are a single mom as you are, which I was for 6 years. And it throws a whole other wrench because there is no other partner to lean on. And so when you do, like when you're down, and it's like, well, that's it.
Yeah. I actually had plans Thanksgiving weekend. Like I had an actual date planned. And we came home from being out of town, and Friday after Thanksgiving, she gets a fever, and I had to cancel the date on Saturday night. And I was like, sorry. I mean, I'm home with a sick kid. And that was kind of like, this is my life. That ended up not going anywhere. Probably for
Yeah.
some good reasons, but it's like, hey, these are my priorities. And fortunately, I'm okay with that. Yes, there's a side of me that's like bummed about it, but sitting there holding her was like the only place I really wanted to be. So yeah, so let's go into it because this is my life right now. Being
Yeah.
almost 45 and trying to navigate dating at this age and with a little kid and with the world the way it is and you know passions and I have serious opinions about things that I didn't have in my 30s and 20s, things that are important now. So,
Yeah, I was a single mom in my 20s, so it was different. Although I will say, like, I felt a lot of desperation back then to have a partner that I do
mhm,
not feel now. If I was
mhm,
to find myself, which I mean, I was like this close to divorcing my husband. I mean, that's basically where all of this, all the podcasts and the coaching and everything came from
mhm,
because I was one foot out the door, massive. Uh, we were not intimate for a year, didn't sleep in the same rooms. Like we were, for all intents and purposes, separated, but living in the same
mhm,
house. And I thought a lot about being single. And at this age, it is a totally different story because I
mhm.
would not settle
Yeah.
for anything less than someone meeting me, where I am at. But back in my 20s, so with Ari, I had her when I was 22, and my ex-husband was out of the picture very, very quickly. And he was in prison. So he actually went to prison. So he was like out of the picture,
Wow. Okay.
not, not around to pay child support or help out or, he was away for years. So I had this desperation. I had to, I found myself, completely financially bankrupt, with this little baby, and didn't know what to do. My history was all in serving in the service industry, and that kind of lifestyle and hours don't really go with having a small
Mhm,
child. So I bought a camper trailer, moved in to my parents' yard, and I worked very part-time at a restaurant, but it was hard because babies get sick, and as we're saying, it was hard to keep a job, and my mom was
yeah.
resentful. My mom was resentful about watching her as a baby, and then I was trying to date because I felt this, like, desperation that I
Mhm,
needed a partner, like, I needed a man to come and save me from
mhm,
this horrible situation I was in, and so I tried online dating,
mhm.
and I did meet a nice guy, and I rushed it. We moved way too fast, moved in together after, like, 6 months because I was so desperate to get out of my mom's yard. I was
Yeah.
so desperate to, like, not be in that situation anymore. And, of course, it, like, went up in flames. And, so that was the first experience for me with that, and it was, I think damaging to Ari because I had several relationships, between when she was, a baby up until she was 6 and I met my current husband. I had, 3 serious relationships. So it was like she got to know these guys.
Yeah.
We lived together, or at least they would, like, stay over regularly. 2 of them we actually lived together for a bit of time. And, so it was kinda like test dads in and out.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
I think that scarred her. And, I look back and it was like, I know I was not okay with myself. I wasn't solid in
mhm.
myself. I wasn't okay by myself. I wasn't steady alone. I felt like I needed another person to complete me, and I couldn't do it by myself. And, that desperation, I think, really was damaging, and it made life difficult. But also a big
Yeah.
distraction from her because
Mhm,
I went back to school, so I was going to the university. I was working. I started a cleaning business so that I could be flexible, go to school,
mhm.
raise her, bring her to work with me. So I was cleaning houses, and then I was trying to date. And so it was like I was trying to put myself out there and meet
Yeah.
people. And so it was like a huge distraction in my life also that distracted me from her and, like, being there for her as much as I could have been. So, I know that now, and not that there's any, worry at the moment about me being single, but
Yeah.
I know that now that wouldn't be the same story
Yeah.
because I am solid in myself, and I
Mhm.
know I would be okay being alone. And
Mhm.
I am independent now versus in my 20s, I was so insecure and like desperate. So
Yeah.
yeah, you've got that on your side at least.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why it's like it's so back and forth because I've never been single for this long. I've always kind of piggybacked my relationships. And so it's so good. And I've done so much work and I've learned so much and I really love who I am. And I'm so solid in who I am. And I love being a mom. I love being present with her. Um, it's just I think it's the age kind of like saying like, hey, like you're, trying to keep everything up. I'll be 45 next month. But I think that's a little bit of societal pressure too. I also at the end of the day, um, it's a little bit of like having someone there to just be like, hey, it's all right. Tell me about your day. Like, it's gonna be okay. And I do have a great support system for sure. And my daughter's father is very much involved in her life. And I'm very fortunate to not be in a situation where I am so financially strapped because he doesn't help. He totally does. So then there's that like, I don't need another parent for her. I don't need that. Like she's totally has her dad and he's fully there. But at the end of the day, it's just that like me, and then the excitement of having someone too. Um, and then it's like, where do you meet somebody? That's my thing. Like, I always joke about the grocery store. I'm like, so I'm gonna be there. Like when I go to the grocery store by myself, it's like I'm like, oh, let me put on some earrings. You never know. Like, who am I gonna run into at Publix? And then, I'm just looking for that person's gonna be seeing me read the ingredients of a package and be like, oh, yeah, you don't eat GMO food either. I'm like, no.
I love that fantasy for you.
Yeah, definitely. They're gonna I'm gonna look in the cart, and that's the other thing. It's like I have these things where I'm gonna look in the grocery cart and be like, oh, it's a lot of Pepsi. I don't know. Oh, I don't think this is gonna work out. You know. So
Right?
it's like I'm picky, but I'm picky because they really matter to me. They really matter. Like to my core, Pepsi isn't that big of a deal, but like to my core, the things that I really believe in, the life that I created and the way that I want to raise my child is, it's important and it's different now.
Yeah. As far as I used to have the same fantasy about meeting somebody, except it was Winn-Dixie, because back when I
Oh
was
yeah.
living out there in High Springs, when I was raising my first out there by myself, it was only Winn-Dixie was your
Oh,
only choice. And
oh,
there was no good choice for meeting single people in Winn-Dixie either.
it's scary. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to anybody listening, but if you know, you know. The Winn Dixie is like I go in there and I'm just like questioning, like, oh my God, Publix is a little better, I'm like, okay, there's like some, yeah, Winn Dixie's I'm sorry for that for you because that's a scary spot.
Well, and Alachua has grown so much now. I mean, here we're talking about almost 20 years ago.
Yeah,
There was so much less as far as the dating pool out there. But Gainesville, so really like you got to get yourself out there. And I know like here's some tough love because you're my friend, but
mhm,
you got to be able to go out as a single person in order to meet somebody.
right. But who in the F do I go out with? Because like
Me, I'll be your wingman.
I know, but you're so far away. Like there's a wine bar in Alachua where we do I guess I shouldn't put too much information out on the internet. But there's a wine bar and I'm like, I poked my head in there one day and I had the kids with me and I was like, ooh. And I looked back at them, I was like, somebody's gonna take mama on a date here. This is fancy for this little town. And then I'm like, well, who's gonna go have a glass of wine with me? Because all my friends, okay, all right. All hopefully it goes faster or easier than scheduling our last few meetups that have still not happened. But my best friend and my sister have little kids and they have husbands, so they're not going out anywhere, you know? So, but they are my babysitters, so I can do that. But that's on my to-do list.
Got little kids and husbands. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I still go. You got it's a priority thing, you know?
Mhm.
And I say that, like, so lovingly, like, back when I was single, it was a huge priority for me. So even though I was a single mom with a little one, going to school, running a business, trying to navigate all the stuff,
Mhm.
I prioritized the shit out of it because
Yeah.
I was like, again, not maybe a good thing, but I was desperate. I'm like, I want a husband. I got cheated. I got, robbed of this whole experience that I thought that I was going to have. I was told, like, that he was in it for the long haul, and then
Mhm.
he went and did the exact opposite of
Yeah.
anything that was in it.
Yeah.
So, I was very desperate for that. And so I really, like, I just put myself out there, like, literally I went out every weekend. I talked to people. I had, like, no hesitation of just, like, going up to random people and just being like, "Hey, I'm Nicole," and just chatting them up.
Yeah. That's, like, so me when I was younger, but I don't know if I've lost my game, you know? I don't know. I don't know. I
It's
haven't
a
been out.
skill. You gotta,
I have
like,
to
flex it. Yeah, it's a
Yeah, gotta
skill.
flex my skill. My skill hasn't been flexed in a while. But then there's that the catch-22, I guess, for lack of a better term. It's like, I'm okay with that in the same sense. Like, I like my little home. I like the way I have things. I enjoy that I don't have anyone else to cater to at the end of the day. Like, it's just her and I love that so much. But I can see the longer that goes, the more I'm gonna get into that zone. And then you become that, like, older, cranky person that, like, I don't like anyone to put it.
Spinster.
Yeah.
That's what yeah, spinster.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I just heard, on the Mel Robbins podcast yesterday, there was a
Mhm.
sex expert on there, and it said that women who have sex continued from their, like, middle age and on live longer, are healthier, suffer less chronic conditions, are happier, less mental health, like, everything, like, across the board. And it was in comparison with people who continue to exercise, eat healthy, all the other things. It was at the same level. So, like, continuing to have an intimate relationship with someone is good for your health all across the board. So
It's
that's
always
a part
something.
of it.
It's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
something. It's like, okay, if you have a baby over 40, you're gonna live to be, better chance of living to be 100. If you extend breastfeeding, that's gonna lessen your chances of all these chronic things. If you blah blah. So I'm like checking off all the lists, and then this pops up.
Yep.
All right, I'm working on it. I'm working.
You gotta get busy too.
I know. Well, so the other part of it is someone who, like, I was recently talking to someone. I won't go into too many details about that, but she has, oh, I'm like, how much do I want to share on the internet here? Well, she's like, an ex of mine, long time, deep relationship, definitely a super important person in my life. And we've recently met back up, like, in the past year or whatever. And the emotional, she'd worked so hard on herself and her emotions and, like, therapy. And that is so, I was joking with her. I was like, that is such an attractive thing. And, our lives are totally different. We've just been there to, like, communicate and, like, button up some past things. And that's been really good and healing for both of us. But I was like, wow, that's a new thing to me where I'm like, do you have a therapist? Have you gone to therapy? Can we, like, analyze this conversation maturely? And because we have a lot of, oh, I wrote it down because I thought about this earlier. Um, Dating as a single mom or dating with children isn't having baggage, it's having standards. So my standards are so much higher now. Like, I don't have time for petty arguments. I don't have time for you to be insecure that the father of my daughter is coming to visit her. I don't have time for that. Like, that is a deal breaker. Like, if you're not mature enough in yourself to meet me where I am and trust that I am meeting you where I want, where you are, I can't, I don't even have time for it. So
Yeah.
having someone who is like, understanding of that and mature in themselves and doing that self work is so attractive and so important because I'm doing it. I'm analyzing myself. I'm analyzing my emotions. I'm thinking, okay, how can I handle this in a respectful, empathetic way? And then, it's like, I don't know, when I was younger, it was just like I had time to argue and be upset for 2 days. I can't do that. And I don't want to. I don't want that in my life. And with all due respect to my daughter's father, we have a very good relationship now, co-parenting. But I always say I have room for one person in my life that causes me stress and anxiety and frustration, and that is him. That's it. I have room for one person, and he is there. And he also brings so much goodness to the table, but he is that person that I have to deal with for the rest of my life. And that's him. Anybody else that causes me any of that shit, I don't have time for it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other nice thing I see about where you're at, like at this age where we're at now versus being younger in that way. Because like, yeah, you don't need someone.
No.
You don't need someone to complete you. And that's not what you're looking for, But there are other, carnal needs, as we say.
Yeah. I know. People are like, oh, you're in your prime. And I'm like, yeah, sounds great.
Use it or lose it. Use it or lose it, though. That was like basically the Mel Robbins. Like you gotta keep on it now. It's
I
like
know.
everything once you get to middle age, it's like, well, if you don't keep exercising, you're gonna lose all your tone. And if you don't start doing all the facial massage and all this other, it's like maintenance. Now it's maintenance time. But
I know.
But yeah, it's so much better to be coming at it from that place where you're feeling secure in yourself. And it's like, no, I ain't got time for bullshit. I know what my boundaries are. I know what my standards are. And I'm not just like, I think for me back then, it was like, do you have a job? Can you pay bills?
Yeah.
Do you have a car?
Yeah.
Real basic shit. I wasn't thinking about, are you healed and like emotionally available? That was like luxury at that point. I'm like,
well, and then who is in their 20s too,
right.
like we're all just trying to figure it out. Of compromising my values for romance too, like my values, my core values, things that I really want to like. I just jumped subjects on you, but like having a conversation with someone about like conspiracy theories or like things that I'm really passionate about. And that means so much now because I can't like imagine connecting with someone who's really on the opposite of the way I think. I don't need someone to think like me, but I just need it to be like an open conversation. And as far as being like in relationships and being rescued, you might need to edit that because I totally jumped subjects on you. Or not, because we're recording right before you're finished.
Yeah, no, I'm not probably just gonna. We're going raw with this one.
We're going. No pun intended.
Yes, pun intended.
But
speaking of conspiracies, we got to remember to touch on that.
Well, hey, this is a good time to do it. Now, had this thought over brushing my teeth this morning, getting ready for this. Not only like in our younger years, we're like, have you been tested for STDs? Okay. Now we're like, are you vaccinated?
Yeah.
Like, did you get the COVID shot? And we'll just leave that right there. Because that's another big thing. Because we don't even need to go too deep into it. Because if you know, you know. If you're thinking about it, you're thinking about it.
That's a hard no. I have several friends who are single and have been dating, and that's a hard no. And that's a hard one too, because it's like, that's got to be kind of an opening, like open line like at the very beginning of a conversation to feel that one out, because that's a hard no. Especially like I thought about that too when I was separated from my husband. I was like, it's like, you as a woman, if you are dating a man and you are sexually intimate with them, like you're taking on all of their baggage in all kinds of ways if you're having intercourse with them. And I didn't think of these things back when I was in my 20s, but now I know it's not just what they've put in their body, what they've done to their body, such as vaccines and things like that. but it's also energetics. So you're
Yeah.
taking on that energy.
Hmm.
It's not just DNA. It's not just like, the physical stuff. Like you're actually taking that energy. And so every person that you're intimate with, you're taking on like a piece of their
Hmm.
energy.
Hmm.
And so that like, really, if I were to be single, like that's a big, hard like spot there where I before wouldn't have thought twice. Like you said, like, have you been checked for STDs? Like, okay, great.
And
But
we even have that conversation, right?
yeah, right.
That's why in our
Yeah,
30s.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I think pre-children, pre having Ari, it was not on my radar. Post
Mhm.
having Ari, it was
Yeah.
because I was breastfeeding and co-sleeping and, like
Well,
having
your
that,
life
like,
becomes a lot more important too.
exactly,
That's real.
exactly. But yeah, before her, like dating in my teens, no, never crossed my mind.
Yeah. And I
But
really.
yeah, and in my 20s, it never crossed my mind to think about somebody's energy. Like,
Mhm.
you sharing a bed with somebody, you're sharing that energy with them and you're taking on their karma. You're taking on a piece of them if you're
Yeah.
sharing a bed with someone. And so, yeah, that would be that would be a difficult thing to, and you just got to be bold too. Like, just like straight up, like
Well,
about
then I'm like, are they going to tell the truth? It's just like they need
right.
to know. They don't. I don't want them to know how I feel about it before they answer the question. Um, because with that, it's like a lot of the. I mean, I hate how much we're separated now in this country, and that could be a whole other topic. Um, but most of the people who got this jab feel strongly about it. And the people who didn't get it definitely feel strongly about it. So it goes into this whole core of beliefs. And then
Mhm.
God bless the people that got it and then went, oh my God, I shouldn't have done that. That's who I really feel for sure. But it's like if you did that, then that means you're like you're going in this direction, right? Like this is what I believed about everything in that situation. So to me, it's kind of a telltale of like your core
Yeah.
beliefs. Um, so that's it's just a whole other thing to navigate. I don't know. I have seen on some dating apps though, which we can segue into that. I have seen on some dating apps that it says like people will put in their dating profile whether
Pure blood.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh well, damn, okay.
I'm a pure blood.
Yeah. I And again, that's not it's really important to me every time I do a podcast. I like when we did Fearless Motherhood, we talked about some pretty hot topics and it was so important to me to never, I don't know who's listening to these things. And I have a lot of people in my life who have taken that shot. And it's super important to me that you do what you feel is right. And I'm going to do what I feel is right. And I love you anyway. And I'm here for you. But when it comes to having that energetic relationship, that's something that is important to me, you know? So it's not judging. Do whatever you need to do because I want to keep it that way where we can all make our own choices. That's really important to me, you know?
Yeah.
But as far as bringing someone into my world new, um, then that would be hard. That would be hard to kind of like fall for somebody and then discover that. And I'll be like, because that has happened to
Yeah, and
me.
that's why I said it's gotta be, like, right there in the first conversation because that is such a hard, very that's a very black and white one for me. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and you say that, and I totally agree with you because I'm the one like kind of brought this up. But I have had an experience in the past couple years where I already had feelings for someone,
Mm,
and then figured that out, and I was like, oh, okay, well, is it that big of a deal? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's ever been any studies done though if same sex women to women pass it the same as male to female though. So we're gonna go ahead and just say it doesn't. Yeah.
yeah. It's probably less, but, then that's the thing, like, yeah, we're definitely, like, kind of veering off topic because we had talked about doing a whole podcast episode on this
Oh
too.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Shedding
That's the
and,
style
like,
though.
yeah, like shedding and like, how close you can be to somebody, even like how many months it takes for it to like leave their system, if it actually is like changing your DNA. There's like so much. And like, yeah, it's so, yeah.
Well, since I brought up online dating because of that status, let's go back to that because that is, oh my gosh. So I'm like, maybe a couple years ago, one of my friends was like, you gotta get on. She like typical friend, she's like, I made you a profile on Hinge or whatever, I guess that was one of them. I don't
I
remember.
don't
Maybe it was
even
Bumble.
know. That wasn't a thing when I was single.
I know.
The
My
one time I tried online dating, this was pre-smartphone. So this was Yahoo Singles. That was like, yeah, there was no like Tinder or Hinge or what. Like, I don't even know. And this is like a whole different world to me. I know
I
nothing
know.
about.
Well, me too. Me too. I was in a relationship from 24 to 28. Started dating someone, overlapped 28 to 36. 3 months, started dating again, and then I have had Selah, and so it's like there has been no gap for me to like. And then when there was a little bit of a gap, I was in the Bahamas living on a sailboat, so there was like actually met Selah's dad like, at a tiki bar, like a very you know just normal interaction, meeting somebody. So this dating, so I'm like, okay, I'll just go on. So then I'm like, what picture do I put? Because every single picture I have is my daughter and I. I'm like, well, I'm not putting a picture of a kid on the dating app. So my friend's like, we go out to dinner and we get like whoever's there to like take a picture of her and I together. Cause I'm like, this is awkward. I'm like selling myself. I'm like, is this a good angle? I don't know. Is this good? I like crop her out of it, put it on the dating site. And oh my God, my self-esteem went, I mean, not really to my core, but it was awful. And I'm not trying to be like, no ego here, but I do have like I do have self-esteem and I do think that I'm pretty and I do love myself. The people that were commenting and like liking me or swiping or whatever you do, I was like, oh my God, is this the dating pool that I'm in? Like, is this where I'm at? And I just would like delete it. I'm like, this is awful. Then there was one person, one guy who was like, seemed nice and he was like a gentleman and everything. And then I was like, I got freaked out because I'm like, I don't even know if you are who you say you are,
Mm-hmm.
because who knows? And then I picture myself. I'm like, okay, you got to put yourself out there, like talk for a while, and then the talking's awkward. It's like, what are you into? And I'm an open book, as you know. Every time we do these podcasts, I'm like, keep me reined in because I'm just going to spill all the beans here. So how much do I share with someone? So then I'm not good at that of like not sharing. And then I pictured myself actually like getting a babysitter, driving to meet said person. And I'm like, no fucking way. I don't know who this person is. No fucking way. Delete. And then a little while goes by and I'm like, oh, I'm just like bored. Okay. So then I go on Facebook dating. That's weird because like it doesn't tell your friends, but then like some people you kind of know are like commenting. So then that was weird and that was just awkward. So I deleted that. So it's bad. It's bad. And everybody I talked to that is single is like, oh my God, online dating is awful. But then you see these ads and it's like, I met my soulmate on Hinge. I met my soulmate. And I'm like, I don't know. It's the not trust, it's not knowing who's behind that picture that really freaks me out.
Well, and now with AI, that AI is so realistic now. Like the pictures, I've played around with it, just like joking around a couple of times, and like it will take your picture and make you look like a
Mhm.
supermodel so easily. So
Mhm.
I'm like, how many people is it actually them not touched up? So if you're
And
looking at
why
that
wouldn't you?
picture, you might be like, "Ooh, this person's attractive. I am into this person." And then the real life experience is nowhere near
Mm.
what the online advertising was. And so then it's like, well, if you were fake from the get-go with your
Mhm.
pictures, what else are you fake about? So,
And why wouldn't you just put a little filter because it's there and like I would want to like I would like, well, let me take a picture on Instagram because that filters a little bit better. So it's just so easy to do. And I'm definitely not a fake person, but like, why not spruce it up a little bit, you know? So that whole thing is just that I just keep resisting the urge to go there because it doesn't make me feel any better. It's not
Well,
like,
you
let's do
can't
it.
vibe somebody.
Yeah.
This is kind of the thing, like, um, I vibe people big
Hmm.
time. You
Hmm.
know, it's like it's not so much what you look like or what you say. There is a energy. And if you're
Yeah.
not face to face with somebody, you're not like, I mean, maybe I guess if you had your first date on Zoom, that would be a filter you could use. Like, I don't know, video notes like back and forth. Where it's like, I don't know, but like there's such a disconnect with like text and pictures that it's like
Mhm.
you have so much room to just make up whatever story you want to make up about that person, whether it's flattering or, you know, not flattering. Like you can read between the lines and like
Mhm.
just insert so much made up stuff. But when you're in person with somebody, when you're like actually talking to them and having a conversation, there's an energetic exchange. There's like a
Yeah.
vibe that you can feel. And if there's a flat line, you're going to feel it right away.
Yeah.
Just because somebody looks nice on paper doesn't mean that you're going to vibe with them. So,
No. And my best friend told me one day, she was like, well, a while ago, she said, listen, I've dated the guy who was like the most attractive and outgoing, life of the party, da 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 da. And that didn't get me anywhere. She's like, she goes, what you need to do is find you like a dorky guy. It's a little bit dorky, but loves the shit out of you and like wants to be more dedicated. That whole like, so then you're looking online like, ooh, he's hot. Yeah, but like why is he taking a picture with his shirt off and like all, so is he like egotistical, you know, is he all about himself? So it's just so confusing and I don't like it. And I felt I didn't like how it made me feel too. I felt like I was selling myself online. You
mhm.
know, I was like, here's my packaging. Here's my best picture with the best angle. And these are all my best attributes. And that's not who I am. Like, I want you to meet me for who I am, you know? I only wash
Yeah.
my hair once a month. Like, after I live in a camper. I like to walk around barefoot because I like the ground. So my feet aren't always like perfectly pedicured, you know? Like, this is really who I am. But you know, whatever. I don't need to sell myself on the podcast either. But that too, because I'm not. That too, being
Hey now, we've been joking. We've been joking for a
yeah,
year. You're gonna meet your soulmate through the podcast.
I
So
know, you're right. You're right. You're right. That feels way more authentic. So back to being a mom and dating and the online dating space, I can't be as risky as I could be if I was not a mom, right? So like, you know, you kind of trust like, I don't know, I'll go on this date and see who this person is. But now I'm like, no, I cannot get kidnapped. Like nothing bad can happen to me. I have to be home by 10 o'clock and be all in one piece and emotionally stable because I have this wonderful little human that I'm taking care of, you know? So there's no room for that riskiness nowadays. Um, being a mom, right? Because this is all about being a single mom and trying to navigate dating. And I think it's really confusing because I'm so fulfilled. That's what I was thinking about this morning. I'm so fulfilled with my life, with my nieces, with my family, with my daughter, with being a mom. Like we have the best time together. But then there's that other part that's like, yeah, but you should be intimate now. That would be nice. Oh, you should have someone that like compliments you, makes you like brings you up at the end of the day, you know, fills my cup a little bit. So there's that pull. And I think that if I was in my 30s, I probably would feel the same. I would like feel old. But I think if I was in my 30s, it would feel a little bit less, you know, pressure. And really, it's not, I don't know if it's pressure. It's just like, I think I'm ready to kind of spread my wings in that department because I haven't been, because I've been working on myself, which leads me to this. And I know that a lot of women are going to resonate with this. I do not want to be saved. I do not want to be rescued. I want to be met where I am. I
Yeah.
do not need someone to come in, because that has happened to me numerous times in my life. Unbeknownst to me, I just look back and I go, oh my gosh, I always met someone when I was like in between something, like whether I was like financially struggling, or in between jobs, or I was in school and it was like, or I was heartbroken. It's like, come here, let me save you. That is like, no, I do not need to be saved. I am exactly where I want to be financially, emotionally. I just would love for you to meet me where I am, that whole being saved thing is like, I don't need that. I don't need you to come in and rescue me. And I also don't want to rescue you. Right?
Yeah. Oh, good point. Good point.
There's a cute little country song. And she said, I don't want to have to fix you too.
Yeah.
She's like, the washing machine, when the washing machine's going, the whole house shakes. Like, my car needs new tires. I need this and this. I already have enough things going on. I don't want to have to fix you too. So, mic drop.
Yes. No, I so resonate with that too. Because when I was single, it was like an oscillation between those two.
Mhm.
Save me. No, I'm going to save you. No, save me. No, no, no. This is a project. I can save this guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah, I
it took,
was totally like that in my younger days. So, my whole thing was like, I can love that out of you.
yes.
All that pain, all that aggravation, your issues with your parents, the job that stresses you out, I will cook for you and I will love the shit out of you, and all of that will go away. And guess what? It doesn't work. It doesn't. No way. So, what about hyper independence? Whoa. What about hyper independence as a single mom, or as a mom, I guess, in general, but we're talking single moms here. Did you experience that?
Hyper independence. I was headed in that direction. So it's funny. So for me, like it was very much a lot of the desperation of like,
Mhm.
I need a man. I need a man. Somebody come fill this giant gap in my life.
So, like the opposite.
Where's my husband? Until just kind of broke.
Mm.
And it's really funny. So when I met my husband, I had just shaved my head.
Mm.
I was bald. And I had just claimed that I did not believe in monogamy anymore. I had decided that I was polyamorous and that monogamy was a bunch of bullshit that were like I was in liberal arts school. I was studying human sexuality at the University of Florida. And I had decided that I didn't think humans were a monogamous species. I was a dual major in anthropology also, and so I had decided, I had come to the conclusion, and this was the thesis I was building, that humans are not a monogamous species.
Yeah.
And that's why I couldn't ever make a relationship work, is because it was just against my biological nature.
Oh, I
So it
see.
wasn't that
I see.
it wasn't that anything was wrong with me or I needed more work or healing or, maybe had some like mommy issues.
Mm-mm.
It wasn't anything like that. It was that I was going against my biological nature, which was to have multiple partners and be hyper independent.
Mhm. Oh, so okay.
And so I declared in public at a poetry open mic on stage my sovereignty and how I didn't need the gaze of any man as I shaved my head on stage reading this poem. Yeah, it was a
So
fun
I
story.
basically need to fall off the deep end
I,
and
I
I'll
d-
fall with
yes,
it.
I did. I fell off and I just declared publicly that I can't do relationships. Relationships are bullshit. And then literally 2 weeks after I made this declaration, I went to a local, it was like a Burning Man festival, a burn, but a local one, a regional one, not the big one. And I met my husband. And yeah,
That's
so
all.
he's a pretty conservative guy. And so hanging out with a bald chick was, you know, interesting for him.
Yeah. Wow, I never
I
knew
was
that.
not I was not the type of, woman he would have talked to, I don't think, normally. Um, he happened to be, tripping on acid when we met too and kept seeing hair on me in all different styles, which was funny. But so, yeah,
Yeah.
that was that yeah. You just have to have a complete break where you decide that relationships are total bullshit.
I'm like, how can I do that with like Shelby style? So like I don't like being out of control. So how do I although that sounds very much like you were in control. So
Oh, no, I was very in control, and I was also, like, in my mid-20s. What was I? 20, uh, 27, 20, 27, 28 when I met him.
yeah.
So I was in a different and I was in, like, my, like, 3rd year of college doing anthropology and psychology and, like, very much, like, in, like, the indoctrination at that
Yeah.
point too, like, lots of, like, purple hair, like
Yeah. Love
it's
it.
it was a totally different period for me. But yes, I totally went that direction and decided that I would never, ever have a relationship again, and then boom, 2 weeks later. And I told him that when we met. I was like, "Listen, I don't do relationships, like, I'm very independent, I don't believe in monogamy, like, we can hang out and be friends." And then it was a long distance relationship for, a long time until, I ended up, uh I ended up moving down there kind of it's an interesting story. It's quite interesting the way it all unfolded, but
Well,
suffice it to say, I grew my hair back out after I met him, and,
yeah. What? A lot of thoughts on that. First, I was talking about hyper independent. Like, no, I was thinking hyper independence. My example was I needed to move my mattress out of my RV, and I was ready to do it, and nobody was here to help me. And I was like, I want to get this fucking thing out by myself. I like the hyper independence where like you stepped me here because that was a really good story. But I laugh because I'm like that chick that's like, make me mad enough, and I'm gonna move the king bed up the stairs by myself, where I'm like, I got it. I got it. I don't need anybody to help me. I can totally do it on my own. And then sometimes I'm like, can someone just please come over here and like fix my toilet? I don't want to do this anymore. Like for a second.
oh, yeah, no, well, I was that way all, like, for the first, like, 10 years of my relationship with
Yeah.
Justin. Yeah, yeah, no, that stuck with me, that hyper independence, and, honestly, I think that's a trauma response
Hmm.
because I didn't ever feel like I could trust anyone else.
Totally.
So, like, that to me, that was part of my what I call my feminine reclamation, was
Mhm.
actually learning to accept help and ask for help because that was a huge part of it for me, of my armor, of my defenses. Because I felt like anything I handed to somebody else, like I was asking to be disappointed,
Yes.
that
Yeah.
they were probably going to drop it, whether
Mhm.
physically or emotionally or, whatever, they're going to drop the ball. And so it was safer to me to just be hyper independent. And even into my marriage, like I was that classic single married mom for so many
Mhm.
years where it's like, I'm carrying 3 babies and 3 bags of groceries at the same time and like opening the door with my foot. And my husband's like sitting on the couch texting or something, like I was very much like, I don't need your fucking help. I don't need anything from you
Yeah.
because that was me always having that one foot out the door. Like, I don't need you. I can drop you at any moment and I'll be fine. I know how to be fine by myself. But yeah, very much a trauma response.
All right. So I need to book a session with you because I just opened up a whole door. Yeah, I've touched on that a little bit before. That is what it is. It's like not trust. It's trust. Like that's a whole other thing that I forgot to write on my notes today. It's trusting someone and being chosen. That's what, I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. If you haven't done it, listeners, ChatGPT is a really good therapist. I gotta dissect some stuff in there. Okay. You, it's like, because I went to the chiropractor, she did some NET work on me. Some of this stuff came up. And so then I was like, oh, let me talk about NET. And I forget what that acronym stands for, but releasing trauma in your body and issues while you're holding like my lower back. I'm holding things in my lower back. So what I'm discovering through journaling, chat GPT, reading all these things, listening to podcasts, a million things, listening to all of your stuff is that every time that I've trusted someone and they didn't choose me, like I want to be chosen. I don't want to be saved. I want to be chosen first. And that is like such an attractive thing. And I know that's probably cliche to say, but I have a friend whose husband is like always sticking up for her. Like, what, even if from the kids, he'll be like, don't talk to your mom like that. I'm like, damn, that's so nice, you know? So, really, to be chosen, not saved, but to be chosen. And then comes the trust because it's like, okay, well, I've done that before because I'm a, what do you call it? Like a hopeless romantic, you know? I'm like, oh, it's better to be loved and lost than never loved at all. So I just throw myself into it, which I don't feel I can do now because I have a little one who's going to be all up in it and fall in love with the person too. Um, so throwing myself into it and just being like, whatever, I've dealt with heartbreak before. I can handle it. But now I'm so reserved in that because I'm like, I don't trust you. I don't trust what you say. I don't trust that you're like, I got you. I got you. I'm here. Like, it's us. It's us. It's us. Like, okay. When all the newness wears off, you're going to be out of here. That can be a year. That can be one of them. The shortest one was 6 months, then a year, and then 10 years. You know, I've had this thing happen several times. So now it's the trust. It's the trust. Like when you say that, it's like, okay, well, you got to really show me that you can really choose me at the end of the day. So, and if you can't, that's where it's like, if you can't, I'm cool. I'm hanging by myself. I got this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really, I think, what it comes back to is choosing yourself and being okay with yourself first. Because if you're not and you're tying your worth up with that other person choosing you, you're tying your worth
Yes.
into being chosen and what they are reflecting about you, then you won't be able, it's like you're holding too tight.
And I've always done that. And that's where I really think that, and maybe this is what happened with you before you met Dustin, was you unpeeled the shit out of that onion and you got through all those layers and you're like, all right, I'm done. And then it was like the universe is like, okay, so now we're gonna give you this person. But to me, it's almost like, and then you got a new onion to unpeel, right? But to me, it's almost like just you bringing that up with the trust. It's like, okay, let me put that in my notes. That's another thing I need to work on and really get through because I know that when I do meet that person, it will be so much better because I've already dealt with this baggage. Like I'm like, okay, the trust issue. I've moved past that. I've dove into that a little bit. All the other things I've kind of gone in. So I am really secure within myself. And I think I'm like, I haven't been tested, but I think I'm like 85% there.
Yeah. I don't know if there's
I
a
might
test
be,
for that. Well, but you know what the fun thing is? The really, really fun thing about relationship is it always brings out more shit to deal with.
oh yeah. Yeah. That's where you were. You were like, all right, so I've unpeeled this onion. And then you met him. It's like, okay, so here's a whole new onion to unpeel.
Yeah.
Now let's
And
put it to the test.
the trauma that you have incurred in relationship can
Mhm.
only be worked through in relationship.
Right. Right.
So there'll be a whole new set of things that come up. And I wanted to touch on the chosen thing because
Mhm.
so after my separation period with my husband and when he started doing the work also and was like, no, I really want to make this work. What can I do? I had given him my wedding ring back and I had told him I wanted to start over because I never felt chosen.
Mhm.
So we lived together, we bought a house together, we had a kid together before we ever got married, right? Um, Again, and like at the time, like my whole like hyper independence was like, I don't need that. Like I don't need that validation. But inside, it created this chasm in me where he never asked me to marry him. It was never like a
Mhm.
conscious, like, I want to be with you for the rest of my life. Like it was like oh, hey, we want to have another kid now. Maybe we should get married first. That's
Right.
probably like a good thing to do. Um, practical conversation. And
Mhm.
so there was always this insecurity in me that he never chose me.
Mhm.
And so I told him, I was like, well, if we're going to do this, I want to start over. I want you to date me. I want you to court me. Uh, and he kept asking, like, well, can we put our rings back on yet? Can we? I'm like, no. And I kept dropping hints. I'm like, no, I need you to propose to me. Like, I need you to start over. Like, I want a full redo. And so we did. We went on dates. We prioritized having like night out dates where we would like stay overnight. Which I mean, we still are doing that. But Christmas, he gave me a engagement ring. And
Wow.
he's still like, he's like, can I put my ring back on? I'm like, no, we're gonna have a recommitment ceremony. Like,
Uh,
we're seriously, like,
we're
we're
still
like,
doing it.
we're doing. It's our 10-year wedding anniversary is coming up in June, and I'm like, that's a perfect time to have a recommitment ceremony. Like, we're going like full redo
I love it.
because I never felt chosen in that way.
Mhm.
Like, it was a thing we did for practical reasons,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that never set right with me. So I think that's such a valid, like, for a woman, that is such a valid feeling.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I don't wanna and it's as you say all that, like, I've been saying in the past couple years, well, probably since, like, her dad and I split, like, I don't believe in marriage. I don't believe in marriage. No, I don't care. I don't need that. I don't need the paperwork. And that all probably stems back from I said I want to get married before I get pregnant. I really and we had only been together, like, less than a year, so that was fast, but I was like, "We're in our late 30s, like, this is just the pace that things move at this point if we're gonna have kids," you know? And I really was like, "I wanna get married, like, I wanna do this, like, this is a whole new." I had only been in same-sex relationships all through my 20s and 30s, and I was like, "This is a whole new experience for me." I was like, I was trying out something new, you know? And, um, I thought that's how it went, you know? Like, the heterosexual is like, "Oh, well, it's easier this way because you don't have to jump through any hoops and blah, 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 blah," whatever. Whole other topic. But I was really adamant about that. I told him that, and he wasn't really he was kinda, like, dodging the whatever, and then I got pregnant, and then I was like, "Well, now I don't wanna get married." Like, now it was, like, too late almost in my mind, you know? It was too late, and then I just kinda let that go, and then very superficially, I was like, I just wanted the wedding pictures. Like, I wanted to, like we were gonna get like, in my mind, we both were on yachts, so I was like, "We're gonna get married in the Bahamas." I wanted, like, the wedding photos, you know? I'm like, "I'm still young, I still look pretty, like, I'm fit, I wanna get married." Like, I wanna get married in the islands and have the pictures to, like, check that box in my life or some shit like that. It wasn't didn't even not and to be chosen, but then, yeah, after I got pregnant, I was like, I'm over it. Over it." And then it never happened, thankfully, for a lot of reasons, but think I'll, like, open that up a little bit more again because I guess maybe I don't know what it feels like to truly be chosen and have that, like I guess it's kinda hard to be like, "Oh, marriage sounds wonderful," when there's no one in my life that I would be like, "I could probably do that with you." You know? Probably, like, before you met Dutz and you're like, "No way."
Yeah, I think I had resigned. It was such
Yeah.
a it was such a core desire for me for so many years. Like, I was actually engaged to 3 people.
Yeah.
So my ex-husband and 2 other exes, one before him and one after him,
Yeah.
because it was such a desperate desire to be married, to be,
Yeah.
like, chosen, to be, held in this way. Like, I
Mhm.
thought somehow that would complete me. And then when I went through that, like, hyper independent, like, I don't need a man, I don't need anything. The same thing, I was like, I don't need to be married. Like, that's a crock of shit.
Yeah.
Get divorced 60% of the time at least. Like, I don't need that. So, but I think underneath that, so it wasn't as much about the wedding and the marriage and it was that desire to be chosen.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, when you are already pregnant, if he had been like, hey, let's get married now. Well, now you're just doing it out of obligation.
Exactly.
And that's how I felt with my husband. It's like, we were like, hey, we want to have another kid. Oh, maybe we own a house together. We like have kids today. Like we have this whole life. Like maybe we should get married. Like, isn't that like the normal thing people do?
Yeah.
Which was so unsatisfying because it did
Mhm.
feel like an obligation. And that was the fear. The fear behind that was always that he didn't really want me. He didn't
Mhm.
really choose me.
Mhm.
Things just kind of life unfolded the
He
way it
did the right
unfolded.
thing.
Yeah,
He
and
did
he
the
did
right
the right
thing.
thing. Exactly. So
Yeah.
so yeah, it's I think it's more than that. More than the pictures, more than the beautiful day, more than the celebration and all of that, more than the paperwork, more than all of that. It's that need that we have to feel like this person really chooses me.
Mhm. And I think that maybe it just came to my mind that meeting someone in your older years, not old, right? Because we're in our 40s, not old. Listen to our last episode. We're not old. Um, it could be something. I think that it will be something way more solid than I've had. And not discrediting because I did have a very long, very solid relationship at one point. Um, but I think it will be because it will be like, I'm choosing you. I don't need you. I want you. Right. Because we've both done the work. We've both been like, I've lived by myself. I've done it. I can do that. But I really like you and I really enjoy your energy and meeting someone at that point. And there is I do have a little glimmer of hope. Uh, because, well, for a lot of reasons, I'm really not that pessimistic, but at all. My grandmother and step grandfather met in their 40s and they were married up until he passed away a couple of years ago, in his 80s. And they had a wonderful relationship. So that was like, and my grandma always says to me, like, I met your grandpa when we were in our 40s. And so I think that when it does happen, it will be so much more like calming and not so chaotic. I think, 'cause to me, I think I'm such a romantic person. I don't know if romantic is the word, but very passionate person. So I think it turns into this like whirlwind of passion and emotions where hopefully it can be enough of that to be fun, but also calming and like meeting each other where you are. Because that's also where we kind of have to be. If I'm a mom and then they have kids, it's like we can't just be crazy. So
Yeah. Maybe there's an energetic block there too, because you associate falling in love with someone with chaos.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
maybe there's an energetic block and you're actually blocking meeting that person because you're like, I ain't got time for that shit in my life right now.
Totally. Totally. And those are the types of things through these conversations and through like, talking to you and listening to the podcast and the conversations that I have in my world. It's so awesome to have these type of women around me that are um enlightened enough to notice that and bring that out because even the marriage thing, like through this conversation, I didn't know I was going to get that from this. It's like there's another blockage. I don't believe in marriage. It always ends. I don't trust it. It's just a bunch of paperwork. Those are those emotional blockages there that is like, I mean, why? Like, why am I hung up on that right now? Like, you're single. Why are you worried about marriage? Right. And but deep down, I think there's that little girl that would still love to be proposed to and love to have that moment. So why should I push her so far away and be like, no, 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 we don't believe in that shit anymore. And I catch myself saying like, oh, still single. And then I was like, shut up. Like you are just fine, you know? So it's the verbiage. It's the words.
Yeah. Well, we are at our time, and I know you
Okay.
have to get your car to the shop.
Yeah.
So I would like to leave it with one thing, though. So
Hmm.
both of us have worked with Jocelyn Dawn now,
Yes.
and that type of work, when we work with her, we're doing money and business manifestation, but that type of work can have the same results
Hmm.
if it is calling in a partner or anything else. Like I've used the scripting and the manifestation to
Hmm.
manifest two births. my last two babies that were born, I manifested how exactly I wanted the births to go.
Mhm.
In trying to save my marriage, in saving my marriage, I manifested how I wanted that to go. So the same thing with like the scripting, tapping on it. Like you can put out there to the universe exactly who you're looking for, and then
Mhm.
give it up to God, give it up to the universe.
Yeah.
Say, these are my parameters. This is how I want to feel. Get behind it emotionally. This is what I want to feel. This is how this will feel when I have it, and put it out
Mhm.
there. And it might come back in a surprising way, but
Yeah.
it's like that ready sign, right? It's like
Yeah. Jocelyn and I talked about
turning the green light on, and yeah.
Jocelyn and I talked about that a lot. I mean, she was, she's been my business coach, and I'm almost also like, I feel like this is like a therapy session too. Like, this is so good. I love talking to her, and she's so aligned with how I've always been, how my mom taught me to be, and like, projecting to the universe. And I've actually been tapping quite a bit. I love to sit in my sauna and tap. And that's something that I am tapping on, is being more open. Because there's fear that comes into it. It's like, if I'm by myself, I'm protected. It's just
Mhm.
me and my little bubble. I can't get hurt. No one can interfere, and blah, 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 blah. But then I'm not allowing myself to really expand. So I know it, because I love this. I love to play with it, but it's like, you're walking through the farmer's market, and there's someone standing there. That person was sent there like for a reason. The whole hologram theory, where it's like that person. I mean, I ran into an old friend from like, I had no idea why she was even in town. And I'm like walking through the farmer's market, and there she's standing. I'm like, whoa, blast from the past. That's so weird. And then we had a great conversation, but it was like our paths crossed at that time for a total reason. So it's funny that I will walk through the farmer's market, the grocery store, anywhere, and like not one head will turn. And sometimes I'm like, my ego gets in the way, and it's like, what the hell, But then I laugh about it, because I'm like, this is all a hologram. And everyone's like, nope, she's not ready. The universe is like, she's not ready. Just one more peel of this onion and she'll be ready, you know? So it's like funny, and I trust it, I trust it. But then to get to the nitty gritty of what this whole podcast is about is like, how do you navigate this and dating and opening yourself up, while being a mom? So, and Valentine's Day. Which
Valentine's
is
Day. Okay, here you go. Here's my advice.
okay.
Put yourself in spaces where people that you would want to date
Mhm.
are hanging out.
Mhm.
Conscious communities, ecstatic dances, workshops, places where people are going to like heal,
Farmers
or
markets.
farmers markets. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
although the farmers market, you've been there a lot. So maybe try a
Yeah.
Gainesville farmers market or something.
Yes. Well, this is a new one. It's big. It's big. So I think
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna have a booth at the farmers market. Not selling myself.
But maybe just a little.
Yeah. I'll be like, do you want to try some essential oil? I need some bread. You want to try some bread? No. Meanwhile, my kid's sitting there next to me. But I wrote something down that's like about Valentine's Day. But it was that like Valentine's Day. I don't remember what the quote was exactly that I came up with, but Valentine's Day is lonely if your life is on pause. But my life isn't on pause. Like, my life is so full, and I'm like, I don't care. It's such a made up thing anyways. But since this is coming out before Valentine's Day and that's what we're talking about, it's like, am I going to sit around tomorrow and be like, oh, I wish someone was buying me flowers, and I wish no, my kid and I are probably going to go have ice cream. It's going to be great.
You want to meet me at Rum Island and go to the springs?
Yeah.
You can be my Valentine's date.
Okay. Are
My
you going?
husband my husband will be at home putting tile in my new podcast studio.
Now that is romantic. That is romantic.
You can be my
Serious.
Valentine, Shelby.
Yep. I'll meet you there.
Beautiful. All right, well, go get your oil changed. I don't want to make you late for your appointment. This
Thank
was
you.
this was so much fun, and now I have to edit it on the fly and get it out there. Boom.
Go,
So
girl.
cool.
I don't even, I always get nervous. I'm like, should I listen to this before she sends it out? And then you send it out and I listen. And I'm like, okay, that's good. I didn't share too much, but I shared.
Yeah, it's
So,
always fun.
fuck it,
It's always
whatever.
fun.
Just do it. Just send it out.
Yep.
Go for it. Thank you for having me.
Happy Valentine's Day to
Valentine's Day.
those listening, and I love you all, and I love you, Shelby, and I will talk to you again soon, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. Hey, and I'm super proud of you for all the work, and I love it. I love all of your things that you keep posting, and I'm super proud of you. You're awesome.
Thank you, Mama. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that.
All right. Thanks for all the advice. Have a great day.
Good luck dating.
Bye.